2 billion Christians worldwide and only 1 million CTG tokens. You do the math. CTG is the official cryptocurrency of the global Christian community. Before we explode into the global market in 2019, we want to offer you one last chance to show that special someone in your list the power of one. Imagine giving Bitcoin for Christmas just 2 years ago. Would that have made you a hero? Well, CTG is not Bitcoin. It is the official cryptocurrency of the global Christian community. 2.4 billion Christians, only 1 million CTG tokens. Act now, and we include the most beautiful silver coin in the world. It is the only silver coin backed by the force and authority of the United States government. This Christmas, give your loved one the power of one CTG token, and as a very special bonus, one brilliant uncirculated silver eagle. Give them the gift this Christmas that will not only light up their face, it will light up their faith. Christian traders, prosperity for God's people. Or you could give them socks. Call toll-free 833 In God We Trust to place your order. Supply is extremely limited. Make this the Christmas they never forget. The past, the present, the future. CTG, ChristianTraders.com. Prosperity for God's people.
You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If on the other hand you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday. Everybody's been working for the weekend, and wow, here it is. All right. Glad you're here, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thanks for being here. It means a lot. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, a special welcome to you. We're just glad to have you with us. I've got a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. Can you see that? Now, it's a mashup of this week's zones and last week's zones. The zone highlighted by the yellow in the middle, that's this week's zone, and, well, the one below, yeah, you guessed. Right, last week. Isn't that interesting? Oh, what's that? That's a 62% daily fib and a last week zone, and just below it, and I didn't even put the lines because it looked too crowded, this week's zone. I gave you the number yesterday, 2688/2689. Now, if you can't see this chart that I'm talking about, here's what I'm talking about. Go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right hand side of the page, you're going to click a big microphone. Okay, follow the instructions on the next page, and within 30 seconds you'll be registered all the way through the end of the month. You only register once per month, but you do have to register once per month. Now, if you're someone who gets out a lot, and maybe you're not always tied to your desk during the show, I want you to remember this. Better yet, bookmark this. youtube.com/CFRN/live. See, that's 3 things you already know, right? You know YouTube. You know CFRN, right? You know live. You got this. youtube.com/CFRN/live. Bookmark it, and we'll be friends forever, right? Oh yeah, and like us on Facebook. I'm supposed to say that. I don't know, it's like a social media thing. Just do it. If you know what that means, just please do it. Oh my goodness. Oh, and we've got a couple pages, you know. There's always room for more, right? There's the CFRN Emini Futures Trading Live page. There's the CFRN page. I'm sure you can find them. Or, I guess, tweet us up on the Twitter at CFRN. Chat with me in Telegram at CFRN, the number 1. Email us, support@cfrn.net. Give us a call, 949-42-EMINI. We are probably the most available guys anywhere. And you can always find us here, live, 2 hours a day. 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern. Again, thanks for joining. Now, since you can see the chart, I just want you to look at the symmetry of this chart and how price played off of this week's zones and last week's zones it's like some musical score we don't quite know how to fully interpret yet, but oh, I don't know, we did okay. We got no complaints. All right, we'll talk about futures in a moment. Let me give you a little bit of news. A little bit. European cryptocurrency exchange BitSane has announced that it's listing Tether. Now this is the USDT symbol. It's a stable coin. The point being, Tether will trade on its platform in pairs with a number of cryptos, including BCH, BTC. BCH had a fork yesterday. ETH, LTC, XRP, Dash, Dodge, and REP. Launched as a fiat alternative, backed by the US dollar at a 1-to-1 ratio. USDT is usually traded against the greenback. However, BitSane now offers the option to exchange the cryptocurrency with the euro. Now, some of you are smarter than me. We already know that. Well, probably most of you, but there's something larger at work here. You know, this is bigger. It's not the petrodollar, okay, but it's kind of a thing. So just remember, you heard it here. The Dublin-based digital asset trading platform was established November of 2016 and has since signed up around 240,000 users. The exchange currently processes about 25,000 transactions per day and has daily trading volume of approximately $6 million for the moment. That may become euro. A number of alternatives to Tether have recently hit the market. Some of the more notable examples of these new stable coins include the Gemini Dollar, GUSD, and Paxos Standard, PAX, both of which are ERC20 tokens, just like CTG. We're not backed 1-to-1 with any US fiat currency. Our goal is to distance ourselves as far from that fiat currency as we possibly can. Circle's USDC is another stable coin that will soon be listed on leading crypto exchange Binance. Covesting, another crypto exchange based in Europe, has announced a soft launch of its new trading platform in Gibraltar. The company recently secured a distributed ledger technology license, a DLT, from the authorities in the British Overseas Territory, Gibraltar. Over the past year, Gibraltar has adopted dedicated regulations that are tailored to attract businesses from within the crypto industry. Covesting, which is registered and incorporated in the jurisdiction, is a fintech company launched by former Saxo Bank traders. Users who would like to participate in the soft launch are required to register and pass the KYC, Know Your Customer, and identity verification procedures. Then they'll be able to deposit any of the cryptocurrencies that are currently available for trading by transferring funds from their wallets to the trading portfolio on Covesting's platform. Additional methods for fiat deposits include credit cards, as well as wire and bank transfers. These will be added in the near future. Swiss-owned capital, a Zug-based, now remember Zug, Zug was going to be the digital Silicon Valley, well, digital currency Silicon Valley. Call it what you will, Crypto Valley. There you go. It was going to be Crypto Valley. And, well, here's the thing. People have been bailing from Zug. However, that did not stop Swiss-owned capital from announcing the upcoming launch of a tokenized, fully regulated index fund. According to a press release, the fund will be licensed by the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority. They will offer their clients the liquid utility of tokenization combined with the safeguards of regulatory recognition. A global survey conducted by Professional Services Network, PwC, recently showed that regulatory uncertainty and a lack of trust are the two major barriers to entry in the crypto market. Swiss-owned capital, with what they're doing with this fully regulated index fund, they're hoping to ease the concerns that investors have by gaining this approval from the Swiss regulator. Over the past few years, a sizable cryptocurrency market has developed in Switzerland, Zug being the hub, turning the country into one of Europe's leading crypto-friendly jurisdictions. The country is home to the so-called Crypto Valley, there we go, in the canton of Zug, where hundreds of blockchain startups and fintech companies are now based. Now, just work with me for a minute. Just pretend you live in Zug, which, by the way, if you have a CFRN passport, you could live there. Now, you go into a lunch spot, a diner, an eatery, whatever. I'm sure they got vegan-friendly stuff for some of you, and paleo for the others. So you go in, you sit down. It looks like any other restaurant or diner or lunchtime eatery that you might find in the civilized city in the world, right? The only difference is everybody sitting there is knee-deep, neck-deep, chin-deep over their head in crypto. Clothes on their back probably paid for with profits from crypto. The paycheck in their purse, well, which really isn't a paycheck, it's a digital wallet, but the work they did this week as an engineer or as the person that answers the phone. I mean, that's a very important job. They got paid, and they got paid in crypto. It's a crypto economy there in Zug. In Zug, when you go to pay for your lunch at this eatery, you don't ask sheepishly, do you accept crypto? You have to say stuff like, man, all I got is some Swiss francs or some American dollars. Could I talk you into taking them? You would think you were on another planet, right? Financially, monetarily speaking. I think we should all go there and observe this for a day, at least for a moment, or for a beat, as the cool kids say, because it's coming to your town. Now, it may not mash up exactly like it does in Zug. I mean, you may have some stalwarts and some holdouts, but you're already getting the soft sell. At some tellers, when you go to take out a sawback, a U.S. American dollar, there's a subtle little message over there that says, would you like to buy some cryptocurrency? And you're like, no way, no way. About the 20th time you see it, you're going to throw 20 bucks in there just to see what it feels like. And please, email me when you do, okay? All right, one last bit of news. According to Sveriges Radio, a Miami-based NGDC ceased operations in the municipality of Älvsbyn after having its power cut by Swedish electricity supplier Vattenfall. I actually said all of those words. Now NGDC owes 14 million Swedish kroner, that's $1.5 million, to Vattenfall, with the company's lawyer Fredrik Sundin stating that the utility is actively pursuing the matter. Now, of course they're actively pursuing. If you were behind on your electricity bill by $1.5 million, do you think they might send a collector over or somebody to just ask you, when they could expect payment? This attorney seems surprised. In all judgments, the prospect does not seem so brilliant, but we will do what we can do, of course. Another mining company, Chasqui Tech, has reportedly abandoned its plans to establish a Bitcoin mining farm in Kalix, Norrbotten. The municipality is now seeking 500,000 Swedish kroner, 55,000 in unpaid rental fees from the company. Did I mention hubbub of crypto activity? Of course I did. All right, there's your little bit of news. Let's go look at the numbers around the world. We're going to start here in the U.S. These are cash markets, okay? You see what's happening here? We've bounced right back down. That area again. And do we now begin to trek back up? Well, let's watch. This candle, it got 6 minutes left. See, it's basically over a little odd doji shape right now. Let's see how it closes in 6 minutes. Then we'll have a better idea of what the market is trying to do. Okay, and that's really all you need to know is whatever the market's trying to do, just go along with it. Path of least resistance. All right, in the U.S., the Dow is positive 17 points. NASDAQ is down 54. S&P 500 down 4.5. Russell 2000 down 11.5. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 34 cents, trading 56.80 last. Natural gas, which we are now reporting on, up 20 cents, trading 4.23 last. We had another nice natural gas trade, and we have one waiting in the wings. Gold up $6.70, trading 12.2170 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei was down 123 points. Shanghai was up by 10, and the Hang Seng was up by 80. No big numbers. In the European markets, more of the same. FTSE quietly in the red, down 24 points at the close. The DAX wrapped up the week, down 12 points on this session, and the CAC likewise down 8 points on this session. To end out the week for both Asia and Europe, it's a solid red in Europe, mixed in Asia. Here at home, the only green on the screen is the Dow. Of course, you have crude oil, natural gas, and gold in the green. As far as the indices go, now we have to ask ourselves, with the Dow being positive 24 points and everything else being in the red, who's got it right? Is it the bellwether, the S&P, which is negative 5 points? Or is the Dow leading the way to the upside, or is the NASDAQ leading the way to the downside? I'll leave you to wrestle that out as we finish up the last 3 minutes in this 30-minute candle on your big screen. Michael, if you're ready.
I am. And Dr. Tom.
I saw that message and I was on the phone with him. Because I saw your message or your email to him, I called him and we chatted a minute.
Okay, good. So he is coming on at 1.
Yes, sir. He'll be here. Oh, yeah. Dr. Tom be here at 1. I forgot. Oh, and he's going to tell us all about. He went to the big crypto convention in Vegas, and well, according to him, it's the biggest crypto convention in the world. All right. I'm not going to make any Trump jokes. No, it's the biggest crypto convention in the world. It's really big. I mean, there's never been anything bigger. I mean, it's big. No, it is. It was a big thing, and I wanted to go, but you know what? It's not that I can't break away now. I have a method. I'm saving that. I'm saving the breakaway for next May. I don't know if you've heard the word, but the CFRN community is going on a cruise. And we're trying to figure out where to go. We think Alaska could be nice. A couple of us do anyway. We like the idea of taking that glacier tour. You get 5 ports in 7 days. It's quite nice. So if you have an interest, if you maybe you're a travel agent, maybe you're a cruise specialist, maybe you live on a cruise ship, I don't know, get a hold of us and tell us we're a good place to go. My wife wants to go to Greece, but you got to fly 19 hours to get there so you can get on a boat and float around the islands. Go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say we could ask John. He used to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. How did I even not think of that? You're right. Yeah. Perfect.
And not only that, I'm, just cruising around the Gulf of Mexico is nice.
That's not
nice.
bad. You know, I have.
It's not far away.
Well, for me, we took the San Diego down to somewhere. somewhere burger in Mexico, and it was okay. My wife got seasick while we were still tied up to the pier. I don't get seasick anymore because I've been in 50 degree rolls on a naval vessel. So
yeah, I only got seasick once.
I've been in 60 degree rolls.
Crossing the English Channel.
Were you swimming?
No, I was on a ferry crossing the English Channel.
Like
I wish I was on the Hoover one.
Ferry. Oh,
ferry. Ferry. Ferry.
Right. Now I got you.
Yeah, we were going to Belgium. We had a
Did you 30-day
TDY. I have not taken the charts yet.
Oh, okay. So that's why it doesn't. That's why it doesn't work. That's okay. No rush.
Okay.
I don't mind.
Oops. Wait a minute. I hit the wrong.
I thought my thing was broke.
Hang on. I like to do my screen clean. Like
hey,
that.
webinar this afternoon, guys, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about Fibonacci. Fibs made simple. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take fibs and we're going to make them simple. We're not going to go into any weird, way out, esoteric stuff. I just want to give you some real basic fundamentals, a basic understanding. And if you can wrap your mind around it, and you know, I don't expect you to believe something just because I tell you, just because I show you. I want you to take what I give you, and then I want you to go into your world, and I want you to make it stand up and bear the light of day. Because my truth is not necessarily your truth. I think some truths are absolute, but perception is reality. So if you come today, perhaps if nothing else, I will alter your perception just a wee bit. Michael, I'll be back.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. I am here. All right, guys. Oh, I accidentally shut that browser off. Hang on. Let me bring up a new window, and I'll start this all over again. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page. I'm sorry, I got to say this first. It's Friday, the 16th day of November, 2018. I am now 51 years and 8 days old. If you go to the home page, useless information, I know. If you go to the home page at CFRN.net, I do, Arlene, I'm just reading that. If you go to the home page at CFRN.net, sorry, squirrel. And right over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. If you go there and you click on that, you will be brought to this page. And on this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. You hit that submit button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So you got to click on that link. All right. And I really got to rename this. It says 2013 to 2015. I guess I could just take off the follow-up thing and just say 2013 on. Because this spreadsheet, we've been filling it out every day for almost 6 years now. Almost 6 years. That is a long time to be doing. Well, to be doing what we do, the same thing over and over and over again. And that's what you guys need to do. And we've, you know, except for that one little red spot and that one little blue spot, we've been having a pretty good run here when the earnings season started. Okay. Can you send a link to the fibs at 4 p.m.? I will go get it in a few minutes, Bart. I'm not sure it's created yet. That's probably the holdup on that. And I did want to speak to you, Arlene. I don't know. I did want to speak to you about the Ninja 8 stuff because I have another guy who's having the same problem. And okay. As I said, today is the 16th day of November 2018. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you're doing all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We made 4 ticks in the euro, 5 ticks in crude, and 4 ticks on the ES to put us at plus 125 on the morning. Today it took 91 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 6 trades. On the month now, we're at 2,221. That's over 12 days, averaging 185 per day. 185 per day. On the year, we're at 33,600. That's over 214 days, averaging 157 per day. 157 per day. Okay? Okay. Let's get into what we did or didn't do. Look at the ES. Just rocket. Crude's coming off the low of the day. This is our 1235 turnaround. Just kidding. Okay, so on the gold today, we started out right here. We stopped out minus 8 ticks. Then right here, we picked it right back. We got 8 ticks there. Just really choppy in here. Nothing else happening. There could be a long off the BBC right here. Yeah, there is a long off the BBC right here. Cycle and the MA1 are both blue, and we have good separation, good bullish separation down there. So that should work out, but the trend is not really strong. Okay. The euro, we had just this one trade right here on the euro. We missed this one, and then we had just this one trade right here. We picked up 4 ticks. Over here, it's going into the high of the day or coming off the high of the day. It's got bullish separation down here. Okay, but you got to watch that cycle. It's red and it's starting to turn. Make sure you keep an eye on that. Okay. Crude oil. Well, there's been a lot of movement in crude. And scrolling back. Still scrolling back. Still scrolling back. And I'm still scrolling back. Okay, on the crude. We started out missing a couple of trades here. Those 2 right there we missed totally. And then we grabbed right here 5 ticks. And we missed all 3 of those, all winning trades. And then we got into the break. So, I mean, it was just, you know, there was a lot of pre-market activity today. And when there's pre-market activity, usually, you know, the first 2 hours when I'm in there are going to be kind of slow. And they were kind of slow today. We did end up getting our goal. I mean, even though we stopped out on gold, we ended up getting our goal for the day, and that was good. Now, right in here, there was a bounce off the BBC right here with a red MA1 and a red cycle. And look at that. Look at that movement. Highest probability trade set up for us right there, guys. Okay. Got in here. It got real choppy. You had to wait till you started trending. The next opportunity would have been... Ooh. Where'd it go? It would have been right here. Right here. Okay. And that pretty much brings us current. There would have been another short right in here. And it flipped off the low of the day into the long direction. And after breaking dynamic resistance, there would have been a trade here and a trade here. Okay. That was crude. Now the ES, what did we do on the ES? We had a break even and we had a +4. But that started moving too. And you know, crude and the ES generally go in the same direction, generally. And today was evidence of that. Right now, actually, is evidence of that. All right, this was our break-even trade this morning. Okay, and then the slingshot was all messed up until we got way over here. And we took 4 ticks on the short trade. Didn't put in a lower swing. Changed directions. There was a long right there, a short right there. Neither one of which really continuing the trend. Then we got caught up in the weekly trading zone for about half an hour. Started to move out of that, but the slingshot was not set up for a trade. Okay. We continued. I'm just looking at the slingshot here because, you know, right here, if I draw a trend line right there, this was during the break now. But right here would have been no trade. Why? Because the close above the MA1 makes it a momentum trade, and we have dynamic resistance right there. So you don't do anything. Any momentum trades going into dynamic support and or resistance. It just got really messy in there. In here, was there a trade set up after it broke dynamic resistance? It was a trade set up here and here. Okay, one of them would have been profitable and one of them would have been a break even. Now we broke through the weekly trading zone again, and it's pulling back down into it. So this is kind of a messy place to be trading right here on the ES when it's stuffed inside the weekly trading zone like that. At least on this time frame. Now, you know, if you flip, let's do this. We'll flip to the 30-minute that Dwayne likes to trade and likes to use as his to gather all of his information. You can see right here, it failed up here at this weekly trading zone. And now it's back at that weekly trading zone. And you see that wick on the top? If this bar, now this is a 30-minute bar, it's not going to close for another 20 minutes. But if this bar closes below the weekly trading zone on the 30-minute here, that would be pretty bearish. And I would be looking for it to get way down, possibly new lows on the day. If you look back here, there's a lot of open space between here and there. Okay, and the next weekly trading zone is down here, 88.89. Okay, that is what I would be looking for. Okay, and with that, what just happened? News? No, there wasn't any scheduled news, Daniel. Right now. Okay, so we are back here now. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you could read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today we made 4 ticks in the euro, 5 ticks in crude, and 4 ticks on the ES to put us at plus 125 this morning. It took 91 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day, and that's because we stopped out on gold to begin with. But we ended up with, at that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 6 trade opportunities. So on the month now, we're at 2,221. That's over 12 days, averaging 185 per day. Now, these numbers that I'm giving you are 1 contract, 2 hours per day. On the year now, we're at 33,600. That's over 214 days, averaging 157 per day. Now, that's over 214 days. We're averaging $157 per contract, 2 hours a day. Okay, so, I mean, you just, if you added 1 contract a month, then these are the numbers over here. That's if you had the same results. Okay, to take our free trial, go to the home page at CFRN.net, and right over here on the right-hand side, it says apply.cfrn.net, 5-day free trial. Click on that, and you'll be brought to this page. And on this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Fill in that stuff, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So do that, and we will see you on Monday. Okay? Okay. And with that, we will pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, where Dwayne is waiting in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
Alexa, play.
I think Dwayne's waiting. Again, overlooking. Here we go. You gotta have the charts though, Dwayne.
Okay, we're back. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Thank you. And sometimes you don't want to behave. She's got a mind of her own. Do you have an Alexa? Do you have an Alexa in your life?
I don't. Jake does.
You have Alexi in your life, but not an Alexa. Okay.
Yeah, no.
What is it? Oh, okay.
I'm not even sure about that
Is she
anymore.
named after Lex Luthor, or how did that go? Lexi.
Lexi. Yeah, no,
It's not Alexa.
it's
Oh.
now Wenna. Wenna.
Oh, did she fall for one of the brothers who pray? Is she going to work for the ISIS?
Yeah, he just a little peek into my life. Has decided a whole bunch of different things that I don't agree with.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to talk about that sometime. All right, guys, the market is trying to get up and get out of here and move a little bit higher. We had a great partners workshop last night, 2 weeks back to back. It's been good. I put a link out this morning for anyone who's interested in the performance this week of the Logic 247. I created a weekly review channel, and you can just pop right in there if you have Telegram. If you don't have Telegram, you should get Telegram. All right, just leave it at that. Get Telegram, telegram.org. It's free, ad-free. They say it'll be that way forever. It has more fun and features than you could shake a dozen sticks at. And that's how we do business. That's how the alert channel runs. And come check it out. So you can go to the review channel. You can have a look around. You can see every alert that went out this week up through yesterday. And they've been recapped, so you can see what the outcome was. You know, did it run to the final target? Did it get part of the way there? Did it get stopped out? It's all there. You can see it, so you don't have to take my word for it. I know I recap everything here on the show each day for your convenience. Look at that S&P go. Oh, that's going to look good. Yeah. All right. So you're probably like, well, so give me the link. Well, so okay. Since you ask, I will. Hang on. I just created it. So you'll be one of the first to pop in there. This is different from the free trial channel that we had last week. That's still available for people to mosey around in and see what happened that week. But this one is for what happened this week. Because you know what they say about past performance being no indication of future results? That's true. So I'm never interested in seeing somebody's past results. I want to see their current results. What happened today? What happened this week? I realize one trade in one day does not a trader make, nor a methodology. But wow, I just saw on the screen these fires. I mean,
I
do
know
they have any of it contained? I mean,
yeah, they got like 20%. 20% is what they're saying.
Man, has Trump not declared a state of emergency and sent in some federal help? What's going on?
I'm sure. Are you kidding? I'm sure he must have in California.
No, because I think if he had, he'd be reminding us about it a couple times a day. Twitter,
you think? Press
conference, a presser, something. Yeah, he kind of likes to, he likes to let everybody know that he's doing good things for the country, and he has, and he does.
But it is California.
It's just President Trump. It's not a compliment when it comes from you. My goodness, look at that S&P go. Oh, you know what? Oh, right.
Still rocking. New highs.
The China news. Some China news just broke. And the Dow, the Dow should be rocketing higher too. Oh, look at that!
Let's look at the 30 minutes. Oh, wow, that is incredible.
We were in position for both of these. Oh, and the Nasdaq. Did we get that one? That's a good bingo. Russell, bingo. All right. Preparation. Now all you got to do is stay with it. All you got to do is stay with it. Wait for the exit signal. Protect your profits as you will, as you do. Okay. Once you hit the final target, if you drag your stop up to the final target, then the worst case scenario is you get out at the final target. But we see a lot of these $200, $300, $400 targets turn into $800, $900, $1,000, $2,000 and more targets just by waiting for the exit signal. So you don't have to go to school. You don't have to learn anything new. Oh, what do I got to do? Nothing. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is nothing.
It is.
Because you really feel
It is
like,
indeed.
you know, I know once I decided I was going to become a trader, well, when I sat down at my desk, I should be trading. I didn't understand that 80% of a trader's time is spent looking for the next trade setup. 80%. I wasn't prepared for that. No, no, no. I wanted 2 hooks in the water at all times. That's not reality. Or is it? Now, if you look at 80% of a trader's time, stretch that out beyond a day, take it to a week. That's 4 days out of 5. Monday through Thursday, you're looking for something to trade, and Friday you finally get to trade it. Now, that's obviously an exaggerated example, but it's still 4 days. So however you break up the hours, 80% of your time is 4 days out of a 5-day week. Imagine if you were actually trading 3, even 4 days out of the 5-day week instead of just 1. It's possible. With the CFRN Emini Passport, it's a 24/7 alert service, and when you want to trade, you just turn on the faucet and out come the alerts. When you're done, when you've reached your goal for the day, when it's time to go for dinner or a show or maybe just to bed, turn it off. Wake up refreshed, you've had your juice, your morning paper, your constitution, turn it on. You trade. You reach your goal, you turn it off. What could be simpler? Come to our webinar today. We're going to recap everything that's happened this week. We're going to take a look at fibs. We're going to dive into the history just a little bit, who this 13th century math nerd was and why he kept rabbits and why they got his attention, and how he may have unwittingly stumbled onto the very building blocks of the universe. They're everywhere, this golden ratio, these numbers. So come, let me alter your perception, and we'll go over everything the Passport has done this week. Logic 247 of the Passport. It's everything a trader needs, one low price. All right, let's take a look at the Concierge Trade Alerts from last night. Got them out early, and we should have some nice movement here. Now, I don't want you to be confused by all the zones, because we got 8 minutes to Dr. Tom. This is this week's zone, and 56.57 is last week's zone, but we have a this week's zone at 60.61. I left the old zones on here. I realize it's just a smidgen confusing, but okay. Zone, the zone, the zone, the zone. And then we start breaking into this current weekly zone as the week progresses. And then zone, 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 zone. Back up to the zone, back down to the zone, back up to the zone. Back down, back up, back down, back up. Now, just this little piece of real estate right here. This would be 27.21 up to 27.36. That's a 15-point journey. 15 S&P points. $750 per contract. Up and down and up and down. And eventually back up and down and up again and beyond. Now, if we make it up here to this 56.57, which is just below this week's zone at 60/61, what would that be? Well, 37 to 57, that'd be 20, so we'll call it 19. 19 S&P points. What do we have down here? From our lowest weekly zone this week, which is 26.88/89, the zone overhead, 36.37. Remember, this is a last week zone, so this provided us with some guidance, but it really isn't the zone anymore. I'm leaving it there for, I think I've actually forgotten why I wanted to leave it there. I thought it was important for some reason for the webinar today, and it may be. I'm going to leave it there, if you don't mind. What I want you to focus on is I want you to focus on this week's zone at 88.89 up to 36. That's going to be almost just shy of 50 S&P points. Now, is that $2,500 per contract from this week's zone to the next zone below? Yes. And is it $2,500 per contract back up? It is. And was this an incredible, did every partner and passport holder know that we were going to get an incredible bounce coming out of here? If they didn't, they haven't come to class, they haven't been in the channel, because we've been ringing the bell all week. Because here we have last week's weekly trading zone. Right below it, we got this week's weekly trading zone. And then lo and behold, off of a daily chart, we plucked the 62% Fibonacci retracement. And that's right there, 2685. Spiked it and rallied. We talked about this last night in the workshop, what it would look like if this rallied. And we said, now the market has put obstacles in its own path. It's got to overcome this 36. That's a big deal. Just so happens that's a weekly trading zone. Oh, so weekly trading zones are fibs. Nope, completely different. But when they match up, oh my goodness, yeah. Now, if we can power our way up into this afternoon, Sunday night, up into this 66 area off this China news, Trump may not have to impose any more tariffs on China. China has taken advantage of the United States for many years. He's always got to get his dig in. He couldn't just say, okay, we've reached an agreement, we've reached an accord, we signed some documents. I don't know. He's got to jab them. But anyway, gave the market a rally. All right, now, so that was news induced. Now, how long is that going to last? I don't want to say it's like Chinese food because that might not be politically correct, but in an hour, the market's going to be hungry again. Okay? So yeah, this news gave it a pop, gave it a rally, but is it enough? Is there enough meat on the bone for it to be a sustained rally? I don't know. Now, you see, the market, just as we can determine where price may pull back to as it puts in the next leg, which we defined pretty good. Every one of these days gave us a beautiful bounce. But you see, there's something ominous overhead. There's fibs up there too, reverse fibs. If you come to the webinar today, we're going to dive into that a little bit. And that's going to help you in your trading. When you're determining the important inflection points to enter the market, you're going to walk away with something to keep you awake tonight. I promise you. I'm going to help you alter your perception. You're going to see the markets like you've not seen them before, and it won't cost you a dime. Plus, you'll get the peek behind the curtain at Logic 247. Did John ever show up? Because it's time for Dr. Tom.
John is not here.
All right, we got 3 minutes to Dr. Tom. Let me just jump over to the Concierge Trade Alert real quick. I got it right here.
Okay.
Tab suspender. Man, that thing goes to sleep quick. I need to adjust the settings on it. But it is possible to have a couple hundred tabs open at one time. I realize now.
I have a 100 tab limit.
Oh, do you? Oh,
yeah, with my thing.
You need to upgrade. You need to upgrade, man. No, it's but you know what? Like my wife can't understand. I said, but honey, I've been working on this project, and I went back to some tabs yesterday. I hadn't been there in like a week and a half, and all my stuff was just still sitting there waiting. You know, okay, yes sir, ready to go to work. That's pretty good. I like it. All right, on the S&P last night, Concierge Trade Alerts. Here, if you want a screenshot, grab it right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can see all those tabs. You can't see them all because they drop off the end of the thing. I actually have to close tabs so I can get all the open tabs back up into view. There may be another way to do that, but I don't know how.
Yeah, mine is totally different. Tab Wrangler.
Okay.
It's like a drop down, and you see all the tabs that you had open, and you can go click any of them. But it keeps pushing them off after 100, and you open a new one up, it'll push off like number 101.
Yeah, it pushes it off the end of the thing.
Yeah.
But if I delete some, it comes back. So, anyway, 2740 on the Concierge Trade Alert last night. We said to consider getting long 2740. 2740. There we go. And we put in a swing high, 27.48.75. So there's something there. And we also said if the opportunity presents itself to consider selling 27.25. And 27.25 is right here. And from 27.25 we drop down to 27.10. So 8 points on the upside and 15 points on the downside. A reminder, if you are a CFRN passport holder, you also have access to the Concierge Trade Alerts, not just Logic 247. So if you don't have the link to that channel, please message me in Telegram and I'll make sure you have the link. And also, while I'm talking with Dr. Tom here today, I'm going to drop into the chat box the link to the webinar today. I'll also drop in the link to the recap channel that I created for week 14. We are finishing up week 14 today. Post beta, we did a 3-week beta, now we've done 14 weeks, and the results have been, we feel very blessed. Very, very blessed to be traders at this point in time, this moment in history. When the world's going insane, handing the richest man on the planet, that silver-tongued devil, he talked people with less money than him into giving him more money. And he's already the richest guy on the planet. And he convinced poor people, by his standard, he convinced poor people to give him more money. A $500 million grant.
Dr.
With
Tom
no
is here.
repayment plan. He doesn't have to pay it back. Dr. Tom, welcome to the show.
His mic is open, but we don't hear him. I don't know what's happening there. But yeah,
He probably
that's crazy.
picked up the phone, or he had the urge to go across the room. I don't know. Anyway, yes,
That is crazy.
Jeff Bezos. I always said he could be the smartest guy in the world. I think I've proven my point. Now I'm trying to figure out. See, now we all have a sphere of influence, so I'm just trying to figure out who I can convince to give me more money. That's what I'm working on. Okay, so on the CTA, trigger was 4 1/4. Boom. I think on the L2 we had a target up at I don't know. We're doing the CTAs today. All right. So the swing high was 505. So that's 80 Dow points, $40 per contract. But we had some two-sided action, I do believe. Yes, the alert said to consider selling 25,240, and that's right here. 25,240, and we dropped 140 Dow points at $5 per point. The Russell was a little more reserved. We had suggested buying 1543, which we never made it to, and also to consider selling 1513, which I think we saw 1513. Let's just see what the swing low was. Put that thing away. It's just going crazy. You're on the radio? How'd you get on the radio?
I don't know.
Tom, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
I just picked up my headset and there I was magically on the radio.
You're live. You're live on CFRN. How is it? How's it?
Well, the Lord is good.
Yeah.
I just spent 4 days at a conference out in Las Vegas, my least favorite city in the world.
Now,
but
why
the
is
conference was great.
Why is
Why
that?
is that?
Is it all the pornography laying on the ground everywhere you walk? Does that kind of turn you off?
It's
Disgusting, right? I know. I took my son there. I took my son there by accident. I
tell you stuff that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah, contraband, big contraband state. Oh, they passed they have recreational marijuana now, right?
Oh, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't imagine how bad it's got to be there. I haven't been to Vegas since 1990, I think.
Well, let me just put everybody's fears to rest. A bunch of potheads sitting around at the slot machines. They're not gonna be shooting anybody out of a window. They're just gonna sit there and munch on their Twinkies and pull the arm of the one-armed bandit. How much money did you win, Dr. Tom?
Not a penny.
Good for you.
I didn't lose a penny.
I feel so sorry for folks that I had two very good friends over the course of my life. When I was a little younger, but anyway, one of them was addicted to the. Well, no, they were both addicted to the track. I was going to say one liked horses and the other dogs, but no, they liked them all. If you could bet on it, they liked them. If I would race my neighbor, they would bet on that. But both of them lost their family, everything, and they got fair warning. They were told by the spouse, "Hey, if you don't," they gave them like a year. You know, you got a year to clean up your act, or we're done. And I watched it happen, and I'm like, oh my God. And here's the amazing thing. I really felt sorry for them because they were the worst two handicappers I ever met in my life. I mean, I could handicap the things, but I had no desire to gamble because I realized that even if I did all this handicapping, it's still gambling. There was no way to put a definable edge in front of myself. Not at the horse track and the dog track. With futures, I can do that. Yeah, I've got documented proof that I can do that. But that's only by the grace of God. And I just thank God that I never got bit by that gambling bug. Wow. But you see it in Vegas. When I was there the last time to go to a workshop thing, it was like time stood still. There was a man and a woman. They'd just come down the escalator, and I could tell they were both upset. They had that look on their face. And she spun around to him as they got off the escalator, and she took her little fist and she's just pounding on his chest, and she goes, you promised me you would never do it again. And he had that sad, degenerate gambler look on his face. Tears were rolling down his cheeks. She was squalling, and man, my heart broke for them. You know, I realize it's adult entertainment, and you know, some people can't drink, and I guess some people can't gamble. I don't know.
I don't know why they call drinking adult entertainment. It's infantile behavior. Or they talk about adult jokes. No, it's the smut that sixth graders tell each other. They ought to get rid of the word adult regarding any of the vices totally. But, I was at a Christian conference speaking on what the Bible says about investing, and after I got done speaking, this little old lady, I call her a church lady because she had her gray hair up and a little sensible bun on the back of her head, and she's wearing these sensible stout low-heeled shoes and a black dress, and she gets in my face. She had to stand her tiptoes. She's wagging her finger in my face. She says, I can't believe that you're here telling people they should gamble. And you're a preacher. You should be ashamed of yourself. And she stalked off in a huff. And I was going to explain to her that there is gambling, but, trading regulated securities is not that. And that, Matthew 25 actually commands us to increase the master's money. He gives us money. He doesn't expect us to stick it under a mattress, and of course the modern day equivalent of stick it under a mattress
would be to hide it under a rock,
or to put it in a CD.
Or put it in a CD. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, because a CD basically guarantees that you're going to lose money. So why in the world would anybody want to lose money? If you're making 1% of a CD and inflation is 6%, you're losing 5%.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make sense. Listen, Dwayne, I told you that I'd just gotten back from this major crypto conference.
I heard it was the biggest one in the nation.
It was. There are other crypto conferences where a lot of people go, more people than were here at this one. But the problem is they're free. Okay, I mean, from the point of view of you spending your money, free's not bad, but from the point of view of getting legitimate speakers and teachers there, they want to deal with real investors. So this particular conference was $300 to get in. It was related to the Traders Expo, which was next door. The same people put it on, but it's free to get into the Traders Expo and the Money Show. And I met a lot of great people at both of those events for 30 years. I was either a stage speaker or a keynote speaker at almost every Traders Expo and Money Show. And like I said, I've got a huge database of friends that I've met there. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, most of them are lookers. They were not serious traders. And so the people like you have in your show that are serious about their trading, they're the kind of people, if they're interested in cryptos, that would have attended this. It's called the Crypto Intelligence Seminar. In fact, I put together just in a few minutes before the show a really quick, down and dirty PowerPoint. It's not pretty, but if you want to make me presenter, I can show it.
Yeah, I'd love to. Love to see it. Hang on.
You want me to? I'll flip it over.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
And I have to say, show my screen.
Yes, you do. That is a lot of icons.
Yes, I specialize in icons. Okay, can everybody see the screen there with me and Dr. J?
Yes.
Hey, okay. There you are, Nigerian. You did it.
Yeah, Dr. J is extremely well known. What I didn't know before this was that he's very well versed and very active in the crypto world. He's doing some major work where people have large amounts of like 10,000 Bitcoin that they need to move. He's got buyers and sellers. So I'm going to be working with him. By the way, you can't really see him.
He doesn't mention that on CNBC.
No, they don't want him to talk about it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because they're still seeing.
Can you get him on the show here with us? Can you get him on the show here with us one Thursday?
I think so. I'm just developing the relationship with him.
Right. I don't know if you can go slow.
I don't know if you can tell there in the picture. My badge is in the way because we were a sponsor of the conference, but that's my Donald Duck tie there.
Yeah. Have you been working?
Got a lot of comments.
Okay, you look good.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I get out and try to walk 2 to 5 miles every day, and if it's rainy or too hot, then we have a little mini gym in our house here.
My grandmother walked 7 miles a day until she was 75.
Wow, and then she cut back to 6 miles a day.
Oh, then she had to go get a couple new knees.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm full screen. I didn't realize it wasn't on full screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So anyway, Dr. J was one of the key speakers there, and taught us a lot about the overall crypto world.
Now, was this? Let me ask you: was this more informational, or more, let me sell you my products and services, or was it a happy combination of both?
It was a combo. Okay. Most of the speakers that come to these things come because they have something to sell, a service, a book, whatever, a boot camp.
Is it pretty expensive to get on the stage there?
I don't know.
Okay.
I had
heard that this recent one was ungodly expensive. I don't know. I didn't look into the prices myself, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah. So this is the Traders Expo that took place the 2 days before, and Mike spoke in that same room. Mike Kelly's the CEO of Cryptocurrency Investing, the company that does the advisory service. This was just a funny slide. One of the speakers was introducing himself because everybody's always bragging about, oh, I was a floor trader. He says, "Yeah, I used to be a floor trader."
Rob spoke. Never
Yeah,
mind.
Rob Booker.
Okay.
Rob Booker.
Yeah, I know Rob. All right.
He was a pretty funny guy. The picture before this,
He is funny.
grab
He
it.
is funny.
The slide before this, I didn't get a chance to snap a picture of it, but it had this orangutan squatting down and smoking, looked like a cigarillo, you know, and he was saying, "Yeah, this is what I looked like before I became a crypto trader," you know, stuff like that. Here's some of the key people that are there. Dan Gramza, Gramza Capital Management. He's very involved in being the voice of crypto in the area of deregulation, because everybody knows that we need regulation. I said deregulation in an overall regulation. Everybody knows that there needs to be regulation, but they don't want it to be too restrictive to where it destroys the whole concept. John Najarian there, he gave a very interesting speech, and he was on several panels. On the right there, you see Charlie Shrem. He's a very interesting guy. He was also on several of the panels, but he's one of the real pioneers in Bitcoin and crypto in general. There's Charlie Shrem with Zhao Dong. Zhao Dong is the president of the D Group, and they're out of Hong Kong. They're the largest over-the-counter traders of cryptocurrencies in the world. So
these two right here?
No, the guy on the right, Zhao Dong.
He's one of the largest, or the largest?
Is the largest.
The largest.
They've traded over 900 billion Bitcoin, and that was up to and including the time when it hit $20,000. So, yeah,
he's had a haircut. Okay.
Well, actually, he's more of a facilitator. He's like a Prudential or whatever. He's not an investor as such. He's an over-the-counter market.
I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. He's providing exchange services. So that dollar amount has been traded through his doors. I got you. Okay.
Right, and actually, he's a step above an exchange. Anybody can open an account in an exchange.
Opening an exchange is a different deal.
Yeah, this is over the counter. It is. How can I say it?
What's the
it's
name
only
of this
for
exchange?
The D Group.
The D Group. Okay.
Yeah, D for Dong.
Okay.
But they handle big block trades. It's just like in the stock market, you know, that a lot of times you get information that a block of, you know, 1,000 shares of GM are block traded, but they don't show up in the ticker in any place. That's because they're done off exchange. And so that's what the OTC market in cryptos like. Most people don't even know it exists because it's only for institutional investors. But we're going to be doing some trading through him. And Charlie Shrem, the guy that's left, he was the guy I talked about earlier. One of the pioneers. Now, there was a lot of talk about regulation. I apologize for the quality of these pictures, but I was taken from far back in the room with a phone camera. But I thought this was interesting. Regulation is not just going to include AML and KYC. AML is anti-money laundering. KYC is know your client rules. Those have to be met. You know, that's why it takes a while to open up a crypto account. It's because they have to vet people that way.
Oh, yeah. We have news each day on the show about what's happening today in crypto, and I can't remember the name. There's an exchange, a new exchange coming online. They were bought out by somebody else. It's big, it's powerful, you got to give up a fingerprint to trade there.
Oh my!
Now this is the crypto. Remember the whole anonymous thing that Natashi Sakamoto, whatever his name was. You know what I'm talking about, Natashi.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I mean, this whole anonymous thing, we were sold and or told, and that sounded great. It's kind of like the decoder ring when you're a kid, you know. Can't wait to get it out of the cereal box. But now, I mean, well, I have several crypto accounts, and I had to give picture ID and my social for, you know, a couple of them. Some I didn't, and others were so invasive I just said no. But none asked me for a fingerprint. But this new one,
that's something I hadn't heard about before.
Yeah. So,
but you know, the ones that are less restrictive, that you can open up an account with an email address, they are the foreign exchanges, and they are little bitty, and they could just as easily run off with your money. Yeah, if you're not giving them information, they're not giving you information either, and they could just take your money and disappear. Anyway, this slide is from Gramza, and he brought up a couple of interesting points. He said AML and KYC are what's in the headlines, but issues of transparency of pricing, pricing data, volume, and rules about trading are just as important as the anti-money laundering things. So he had an interesting suggestion, that the industry adopt a code of conduct using the FX traders code of conduct as a model. FX trading has been widely used for the last 30 years, so it's more of a mature industry. And so I thought that was an interesting suggestion.
It's still a little bit scandalous, but so what is the code of conduct for the FX model that he's referring to?
I don't know. I've just gotten back in town, and I want to go in and study it. Okay. But the people that were in the room were either serious crypto traders themselves or leaders in the industry. So I go to a lot of conferences like this, and this is where ideas are exchanged, and then over lunch people will bang it around. What do you mean? No, we don't need a code of conduct. This is the Wild West. And somebody says, yeah, but if you don't start getting more organized, then the government's going to come in and regulate it. So better to regulate ourselves. One good example of that is medical doctors. There's very little regulation of medical doctors by federal or state governments. The AMA does most of the regulating of itself. They self-police. And that's always best for the industry. All right,
yeah, but is it best for people?
Well, what's best for the industry is best for the people.
I'm sorry, but I would have to disagree that what's best for the AMA may not be what's best for Dwayne.
Oh no, I'm not talking about I was using them as an example, but in this case, okay. Because the cryptocurrency is the people. This is the most democratic financial instrument that's ever been in existence.
Did you read? Did anybody talk about Christine Lagarde's speech this week and the statement that she made? Did that come out at the conference?
No, nobody mentioned that.
Christine Lagarde, head of the IMF, International Monetary Fund, she's suggesting that we need to come out with a state-backed currency so that the central banks can maintain control of the monetary system. Everybody wants crypto, fine, give them crypto. We do a state-backed crypto. Central banks maintain their positions. What?
Well, we know that central banks have been.
Those are fighting words around crypto purists that she could really ruffle some feathers. I mean, she needs to think twice. Actually, I think she was trying to be a friend of crypto. She didn't realize how far off the mark she might be. Go ahead.
Well, the idea of central banks issuing cryptocurrencies is not new to her. I mean, there are 19 central banks
when the
around the
IMF
world.
puts a stamp of approval on it, that's big news.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a sense, when the IMF does that, the U.S. is putting a stamp on it. because we are the big dog in both the IMF and the World Bank. If you go back a little ways in history to 1944 at the Bretton Woods Conference, that's where the U.S. became the world reserve currency. These are the results that came out of it. Whereas for the 200 years before, it had been the British pound. But we had more gold than any other country, so we became the de facto world reserve currency. Also, the IMF was instituted with us as putting more money into it than all the other 43 countries represented together. And the World Bank, very similar. Now, we're not as much in control of either of those institutions as we used to be, but it's kind of like us in the United Nations. We fund 50% of the United Nations for them to bash us. But that's another story.
Now, we all know where, in relation to the U.S. dollar, we all know where Jekyll Island is. In light of cryptocurrency, where's today's Jekyll Island?
Good question.
Who's on that train headed to the new Jekyll Island? Whatever we end up calling it, it'll have a name, and there'll be a group of people. There'll be some people. Will it be Vitalik Buterin, founder of Ethereum? I don't think so. I don't think he'll be a part of the gang of the Circle of Greed. I don't doubt that the Fed chairman will be on board. Go ahead.
A lot of the people that the speakers and the people that are very much in the know at this conference were of the opinion that Satoshi Nakamoto was not a person but a group. Just by the way different communications came out, language and the way the language was framed, you could tell different people are writing. Now that could be one guy that's in charge and has different people writing things for him, but anyway, there's a strong sentiment that it was actually a group of people. Nobody knows who, nobody knows how many, but
we still don't know who created Bitcoin. We have a name, Satoshi Sakamoto, but that's all we got.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most of the leaders there feel like that's just a name given to a group. It's not an individual.
Were they wearing ski masks, these guys that you're talking about at the conference?
No. But to answer your question about, who will be the central figures, I believe a lot of them were there at this conference. But
I'm sure you're right about that. Yeah, absolutely.
One of the speakers is a guy named Sam Shanes. Now, everybody's up there wearing ties and suits and stuff like that. He walks on the stage with his backpack on and his baseball cap on backwards, wearing a tie-dye T-shirt.
There you go. There's the king. Bring out the crown.
Yeah, he didn't care about what he looked like, but he had an interesting take. Comparing crypto to traditional markets, particularly to the NASDAQ. A lot of the same kind of characterization because, the big exchanges, the MX, the New York, the Merck, and all those are centralized. The NASDAQ is actually the only decentralized stock market we have. I used to have clients and say, well, what do the market makers say on the NASDAQ? I say, son, you're a market maker. If you've got a computer and you buy or sell NASDAQ, you're putting up a bid or an ask. You're a market maker just as much as anybody. I always laugh when they go to New York and say, well, we're here at the NASDAQ site. All it is a big empty room with a bunch of screens on it. The work of the NASDAQ takes place on thousands, probably millions of computers all over the place. So he compared
the futures market is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. It's a purely electronic marketplace. The S&P, I think they still have a small pit with a couple guys squawking, but But that's it. All the other pits have been done away with. Everything's gone electronic. Have you seen that movie? I think I've asked you before. Have you seen the movie Floored?
No.
Oh, you can find it online. It's really good. It's about what happened in Chicago when the pits closed. And all these people, some who had worked there 20, 30 years, they didn't know how to do anything else. When they couldn't stand in that open outcry pit and bark orders to buy or sell, they didn't know how to go home and sit at a computer and trade. And it's kind of a sad little documentary. And it wasn't only the traders that lost their jobs and all of the clerks and the brokers, all of the ancillary businesses around the Merc, the coffee shops, the diners, the restaurants, the cigar shops, the bars, the dry cleaners. I mean, kind of like a ghost town with the pits gone.
Yeah. And and that's an expensive place to do anything.
Yeah,
we did
a coal place. Good Lord.
I did a seminar there. Remember, 2014, I think I did a seminar there.
Yep.
And that was the most expensive seminar I've done. And it was great to see everybody, but man, I don't want to do another one in Chicago.
Plus, they still haven't fumigated it since Obama left, so I wouldn't want to go there just on that basis.
Hey, speaking of Dr. Tom, we are in the planning stages of a group CFRN trader cruise up to see the glaciers in Alaska in May of next year. Just telling you so that you can maybe pencil it in on your calendar. I think you would enjoy it. Get out of the heat down there, South Florida. How come those people can't count? What's up? Could you help them? What's going on?
I was actually a Republican vote observer during the recount in 2000, but as far as the cruise, I've been invited to speak on several different cruises now, financial cruises. So if you want me there, you're gonna have to kind of let me know the dates and stuff pretty soon so I can put it on the calendar.
Well, I might ask you to speak at ours. That'd be good. No, that'd be good. No, we're going to get together for a couple hours a day. If we're able to pull this off, and I don't see a reason why we won't. Get together and have class and trade for a couple hours per day together. We'll hit 5 ports in 7 days. And they got a big sale on for the mini staterooms, which means you have a view. And the only reason I really want to go is I want to talk to those doggone Alaskan bush people. Because when I found out that they were actors and that every day at the end of filming they went home, they went back to the motel, I was let down. My faith in humanity was just shot. Now, Mom just had a battle with cancer. I'm lost. Is it real or is it Memorex? I don't know. I prayed for her anyway, just in case. So, yeah, I thought it was real. I really did. I'm so naive. And then
what I want to do is go find that village where they filmed Northern Exposure, where they had moose walking down the middle of Main Street.
Was that a great show or what?
That was one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh man!
But as far as the cruise, I don't know if you know, I used to own a bunch of travel agencies.
I did not, sir. And you're just so full of surprises. You're like every week you peel back one more layer, Dr. Tom.
I just buy businesses for the benefits of the,
like an onion.
So by owning a travel agency, then I got free cruises and big discounts and so on. But if you need any help putting the thing together, I've put together probably 20 different seminars at sea, they're called. And so I know how to get the best deal out of the cruise lines and so on.
Can we fly under that banner? I like that. Seminars at sea.
Seminar at sea, yes, sir.
Seminars at sea. Okay. Yeah. So I would love your help. Here's the thing: not everybody wants to go to Alaska. Not everybody wants to go to Mexico. We got to go somewhere if we're going to go.
Not everybody wants to go on a cruise ship.
Not everybody wants to go on a cruise ship. So we'll do.
I enjoyed the last one I was on. So
we'll do our
was the cruise you're talking about. We flew into Anchorage and then ended up the cruise in Vancouver. and it was wonderful. Really, really enjoyed it. It's some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. You can only see from the cruise ship. If you're in Alaska on the land, you can't see a lot of it because you're too close to it. But when you're at sea, we went into Glacier Bay. We saw
that's where this cruise goes.
Actually,
exactly. This is where this one that I'm looking at. That's where it goes. Tell us all about it.
well, if you're lucky, you actually get to see a glacier calving. You know,
What is that? I don't know what that is.
well, a calf is smaller than a cow, so a small piece of a glacier has developed cracks and so on.
It breaks off.
And
Okay.
it just by its own weight breaks off and floats around. So that's why there's certain times of the year when you can't go into Glacier Bay because they can become a Titanic, you know.
You know, with all this global warming, I'm afraid there won't even be any glaciers left by the time we get there in May. So.
Yeah. And Trump is accelerating global warming.
He is. It's a lot of hot air. A lot of hot air comes out of that guy.
Okay. Well, anyway, back to these. I thought this was really interesting, this presentation. I wish everybody could have been there and heard all of them. But Shane talked about the similarities between traditional things. So he likens Bitcoin to the US dollar because in terms of market cap, there's about 2,000 altcoins, and the way one of the speakers described it, about another 1,000 crap coins. That you would need
5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But Bitcoin is about 70% of the market cap of all cryptos put together. So, bottom line, he says it's like the US dollar. It's the big dog still. With all that's happening in the world, the US dollar is the big one. And then he compares Ethereum, which is very much tech oriented. Bitcoin's blockchain is aging. It's slow. But they'd have to change the total character of Bitcoin to bring it up to date. Ethereum had the advantage of coming in later and being a much higher tech, much easier to upgrade, and very, very efficient and fast. So
that's why we built on. We had a choice when we started out with CTG. We could build. It just made sense to build
blockchain.
on the Ethereum blockchain, and so that's what we did. And I'm really, in hindsight, I'm very glad. My decisions aren't always so rewarding in hindsight, but this one is. So go ahead, tell us.
Yes, sir. But I think you made a really smart move there. But he thinks it's like the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is typically where the tech stocks, the robotic stocks, the telecoms.
It's where the future trades.
Exactly. So I coined a phrase while I was there. I don't know, maybe somebody else coined it first, but it just popped into my mind. The cryptocurrency is the future of money, and it's the money of the future.
Very good. I like that.
So this is where Ethereum comes in. They're what's going to keep the crypto markets evolving and growing. So the general wisdom is Bitcoin is the coin and everything else is altcoins. A lot of people were starting to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum together as being the major coins.
Gold and silver.
And yeah, that's a good example.
But the silver's really smart. The silver's a little smarter than the gold because it can issue smart contracts, and Bitcoin does not have that built into its code.
That's true. So anyway, this is why if you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, you've got the trend of the rest of the altcoins. They tend to follow along. So
Ethereum is the pick and shovel of the digital gold rush. You can use that.
Coin that, Dwayne. Coin that, Dwayne. It's the pick and shovel
of the digital gold rush. He said it in his best radio voice. All right. All right, Dr. Tom, I know you got more to share with us. Come on.
Well, I just finished with what he says here, and I'll tell you about Mike Kelly and what he did there. But as Sam Shane says, that altcoins tend to trade relative to the indices, with Bitcoin and Ethereum representing the indices, especially when there's bigger moves. They're similar to small cap stocks within an index, like the NASDAQ again is an index of well, actually financial banking stocks and tech stocks, but there are smaller indices that are small cap tech stocks. So he compares the altcoins to that. And also, this didn't happen at first, but what's happening now in cryptos is that the altcoins are being grouped into sectors similar to the stock sectors, like energy, tech, and financials, and so on. Excuse me. I don't have a picture of Mike on the stage. He was probably the newest person there, as far as having been to these kinds of conferences and so on.
So nobody knew who he was.
Well, actually, believe it or not, a lot of people did know who he was.
Okay, well, I was saying that in a complimentary way, that he was like this new dynamo on the scene. But go ahead.
He was the new kid on the block.
Okay.
He was also the youngest guy on the stage. But it's interesting.
Now that's surprising, because I mean he's not he's a young man, but I would have thought you would have had like some late teen, early 20 guy up there who was sort of the star of the whole thing, one of these whiz kids. But no. Okay, go ahead.
You would think, but anyway, Mike really shook the place up. He was the one everybody was talking about because, first of all, he's the only one that was self-taught and took $20 and turned it into $2 million in 18 months. Okay. Now, when I first heard that, I frankly didn't believe it. And then I got to know him, and I could see that he was an honest Christian businessman. But I had one big question. How much money did you put in after you started trading and add to the $20? Because if it was me, and I say turn $20,000 into $1,000, I would say, okay, I got something going here, and I'd throw another $50,000 or $100,000 at it. And then if it kept on going up and making thousands of % returns, then I'd put $500,000 into it.
Katie, bar the door. We're selling the farm.
Yeah, I mean, this guy Zhao Dong, by the way, he sold his house to buy his first Bitcoin stake. And housing is one of the best investments in China, Beijing at the time.
I can only imagine the rags to riches stories we'll be reading 20 years from now.
Right. But the point is that Mike did not add a penny to his account. That $2 million was all compounded from the $20. The second thing is I jokingly call him a millionaire maker. You know, he has documentation of 23 people that all but one of them started with less than $10,000, and they've become millionaires by following his signals. And he told me a story. I wish he told it to the group. It was pretty cool, about this little lady that came up to him after one of his live conferences, and she was hugging him and kissing him. He's saying to himself, "Hey, lady, I'm married, you know," but only on the cheek. But she had tears in her eyes, and she said, "Mike, I'm one of your millionaires." So this one that he didn't know existed. She had been following him for several years, trading his signals. Her husband had died and left her with very little, so she was facing a very bleak retirement. And I've seen that up
That's a powerful
close
story.
and personal.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a paramedic, the doctors would always tell us, bring in all their prescriptions. Don't take time to write them down. Just grab all the bottles and bring them. And they're usually in the medicine cabinet, and some of them have to be refrigerated. So I've opened up a lot of people's refrigerators, in these retirement communities. And it was shocking, but so many times the only food in the refrigerator was cans of dog food because it was cheaper than pork and beans. It's the cheapest thing they could buy. And that's what they were eating. And that's the kind of future this lady was facing. So now she's a millionaire, and she was just like blown away. So anyway, he created quite a stir in the place. And I imagine next year he'll probably be the keynote speaker next year. Now this was another interesting perspective. I didn't know this. I knew it had crashed a number of times, but I didn't know it was 50 multiple times that Bitcoin has crashed 50% or more. But yet the long-term trend, even today, is an uptrend. Even with the big spike in 2017, it's not in a downtrend by any means. And he
what? Are you talking about Amazon?
No, he's just had a chart at Amazon's bubble. Okay. Remember that huge bubble that happened in 1999 and continued on 2000? He's illustrating how you can hardly see it now. Okay, because Amazon's this is obviously a logarithmic chart. Mm-hmm. But he's got two different charts where he shows the bubble.
Yeah, I see it.
Barely visible. But he talked about the fact that the NASDAQ bubble of the 90s had the same problem that crypto does with valuing new technology. Remember, before the 90s, the metric for evaluating stocks was earnings, basically. And the tech stocks, particularly the dot-coms, didn't have any earnings. They were losing money hand over fist. So they came up with a new metric they called eyeballs. And so whichever website was getting the most people viewing it, that's the ones that were being priced up. So he says it's going to take time before people really learn to value cryptocurrencies. And Mike always says that the main thing he looks for, it's just like in real estate, the three big things are location, location, location. If Mike's evaluating an altcoin, he looks for management, management, management. That's going to be a big deal. Whether the coin has a real business, a real reason to exist, other than somebody wants to issue a coin and make money.
That's right.
And
that's where so many of these. That's where so many of these thousands and thousands of cryptos will fall flat, because they're supported by nothing tangible, nothing fungible.
Kind of like the U.S. dollar.
A little bit. I was hoping you'd say it so I didn't have to.
Yeah, people always say to me, "Well, isn't this whole crypto thing just a bunch of smoke and mirrors? It's bits and bytes. What's real about it?" I said, "Well, take $100 bill out of your wallet and tell me what it's backed by. You know, even the physical money that we have, only about 6% is printed now. All the rest is strictly exists on a computer someplace, because cash is going away."
Oh yeah. I mean, the Federal Reserve, Treasury, when it comes to printing money, what number did you use? It's less than 30% of the money that the Fed creates. Less than 30% of it ever gets printed up into actual.
As of the latest.
Oh, 6%. 6% is actually converted into a $20 bill you can hold in your hand. Everything else is ones and zeros, like you just said. Yeah, that's so true. So true.
Now, Mike and Dwayne, do you recognize this guy, this picture?
That's Christine Lagarde.
No, it is really.
I do not recognize who that is.
She's the head of the IMF. She's the one that said we should have a state-backed cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So here's a statement from her. not so long ago, some experts argued that personal computers would never be adopted and that tablets would only be expensive coffee trays. So I think it may not be wise to dismiss virtual currencies. Interesting quote.
She's the head of the IMF.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the slideshow. I wish I had a picture of Mike up on stage. He was very impressive. But like I say, he was the star of the show. Everybody wanted to talk to him afterwards.
I'm sure. Yeah, you got a great story. Incredible.
Yes, sir.
Incredible story. All right. What else you want to talk about? You had a good time. You stayed in a nice place. Where'd you stay?
I was at Bally's because that's where the conference is being held.
How many days were you there?
And 3 nights. 4 days, 3 nights. By the way, if anybody goes out to Vegas and you look for a good place to eat, go to the steakhouse in Bally's. Unbelievable steaks. And they make these popovers that are, it's hard to even describe them, but they've got cheese all in them. They're like hollow in the middle and crunchy on the outside. It was just so delicious. So highly recommend it. By the way, we haven't mentioned CFRN Gold.
We did not. All right, you probably wonder, who is this guy? This is Dr. Tom. Tell him who you are, Dr. Tom.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Tom. I am. I wouldn't want to call myself an expert on anything.
Oh, come on. Yes, you are.
I just know a lot about a lot of different things.
Some of my best friends are experts, and you're one of them.
Well, thank you. But I own a company called Golden Art, and we import ancient and medieval gold coins from Europe. It is, investment grade gold is the best investment from a standpoint of safety of any investment, any asset class in the last 100 years, because it's the only one that hasn't had a down year. If you buy high quality investment grade coins, not to say you couldn't lose money, but not 1 year in the last 100, either in Europe or the United States, have the index of the high grade investment coins gone down. So bullion is good, but bullion is more of an insurance policy. Bullion is just a way to protect you from the continuing fall of the dollar. So it's been slow, but it's been steady. It's not like an avalanche, but it's more like erosion. The dollar's lost 96% of its value since we went off the gold standard. So it takes $25 today to buy what $1 bought back then. So gold has done an admirable job of protecting your value. In 1933, it was $20 an ounce. Today, it's hovering around 12 to 13, sort of range bound there. Well, that's a direct inverse correlation to the amount of loss the dollar's had. So bullion is not an investment. It protects your money. But investment grade gold actually increases your purchasing power. So if you go to CFRN Gold, what you'll find there is the ability to get a gold education starter package, which has a monograph, a very interesting article, and a number of videos that will help you understand investment grade gold. So no obligation. We're educators more than anything else. As you'll see, we've got articles and videos and so on up on the website, as well as on my ministry website, Christian Financial Concepts, where we've got about 500 hours of archived training. And by the way, we're going to get Dwayne to come and teach for us after the first of the year. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be there.
It would be my absolute pleasure. I don't know what I could teach anybody, but I'll come and hang out.
Well, you teach it every day, aren't you?
Honor. Yeah. Yeah. You sure your people want to know about all that? Some might think it's voodoo.
No, these are people, some have been following me for 20 years.
Oh.
And so they're pretty clued in on business and finance. And,
when you've had clients for 20
investments.
years, you know you got a pretty good business. We've got members of our audience that have been with us since we first broke the airwaves, and I mean we broke them. We broke the airwaves. When we first broke the airwaves in 2005, I got people who were following me just when I just had the website Christian Traders, and then they became part of the radio audience, and then they've just become family over the years. I mean, goodness, that's 13 years ago.
Wow.
I have shirts that aren't.
That's good. So you have a tribe.
I do have a tribe, and you probably picked that up from the end of that video at CT Global Media, which I think I sent you. But it is all about being able to define your tribe and know who your tribe is, because everyone has something to offer. Most people in the audience, they may be thinking, yeah, I had a good life, I worked this job, I did okay, put away a few shekels for retirement. But whatever it is you did for a living, chances are you're an expert at that. And right now in this world, there are people out there struggling to do what you did all your life. I mean, they're just learning. They're like apprentices, and they need a mentor. They need somebody to coach them and guide them and direct them. And that could be you. That could be your renaissance. You could come back, for another inning. Yeah. Let's go out with a bang. Entrepreneur. Age is no limitation. And in today's world, the limitations have been reduced so greatly. Never before in the history of mankind has opportunity abounded in the way that you don't even have to leave your home. Now, take it from someone who knows. You really should leave your home occasionally. Leave the compound. Just if you don't do anything but go stand on the corner and watch the traffic go by, occasionally leave the compound. Once it's deemed safe, right? And then you come back and close the gate. But if you were an engineer, or you were a mechanic, or you were an administrative assistant, if you were a biology teacher, if you were a biology teacher, you no longer teach, you've retired, there are kids out there right now, from the inner city to the Shah of Iran's palace. Yeah, I know he moved out. But anyway, you get my point. There's kids out there struggling to pass, their chemistry or their biology tests. You could be their savior. And some of their parents got money. They'd be happy to fork over $50, $75, $100 an hour for you to tutor them and help them. And you don't have to leave your extra bedroom that you've converted into an office with a little web camera. And it's just like you're
And
there.
with tax deductions.
And with tax deductions, my goodness, I'm gonna think I'm gonna cry. It's so good. All right.
By the way, you know how that works?
How?
How the IRS allows it?
How?
You can do two different things. If you have a room that's dedicated, it has to be strictly dedicated to your business. So you can't also use it as your guest bedroom. Can't be a bed in there and then your desk on the other side. But if it's a dedicated room.
Whoa, stop. You're going to take away my nap?
Well, if it's only for the
I got a nap sitting up.
On.
Oh, this is not good. I did not know this. Well, I hope they aren't listening. Get that bed out of here. Go. Just a little cot, really. It's not a bed. It's a cot. Would that be allowable? Like a rollaway cot? Can you do that?
I would put a little fold-out couch in there. Because it looks like a couch. But anyway, if anybody's ever building a house, they're laying it out. One of the things, if you want to make one room your office, don't put a closet in it. And it's clearly not a bedroom.
Oh, you take the doors off and you put in bookshelves. That's how some people have done it, I hear. Folks, when you're decking out that home office and you go to select your desk, like the centerpiece, the throne, I'm going to just throw out a suggestion, do with it what you will. You're going to see all different kinds of desks. The one that's the size of a football field, that's not the one you want, because you're going to stub your toe and break your kneecap more times trying to get around that thing to get out the door. And just get an ordinary mortal-sized desk, you know. Just be humble. God loves a humble man. Just get an ordinary desk. Now, the greatest desk I ever had, oh, this was just because I could have no secrets, I could have no distraction. I had a glass desk. It was a pedestal and a top, and I had my nice leather back chair behind it, and that's where I held court every day. And there's no drawers. You can't hide stuff. You can't become a pack rat. You don't get distracted and disoriented, you know, by some shiny object. It's just, hey, and you know, you got to wear socks every day, unless you have nice ankles, which I do. But, you know, I was wearing no socks before Don Johnson. The whole look, the blazer, the no socks, I was doing that in Phoenix, Arizona, and then Mr. Miami pops up. Wow.
Took away your thunder, huh? But I've got to run here. But just to finish how the IRS looks at it, you can take whichever of these methods benefits you the most financially. You can either count up all the rooms in your house. You can count the kitchen. You can't count the baths. So, you know, bedrooms, living room, dining room, kitchen, and so on. And if you have 7 rooms in your house and your office is one of those rooms, then 1/7 of all your expenses, whether it's mortgage or rent, taxes, even cleaning supplies. When you go to the grocery store, when you go to the grocery store, separate out your groceries from your supplies. And then you can take 1/7 of all those supplies. Your garbage pickup, your cable bill, whatever. Now, the other way you can measure is by percentage. Let's say you build a fairly large office. Well, you might be able to get a better deal that way. Maybe 15% of the floor space of the house is taken up by that office. Well, that's better than doing it by the number of rooms.
Yeah, and you know, it used to be that if you tried to claim the home office deduction, they said that was a huge red flag for the IRS. But
you get audited and all.
Nowadays, it's not a red flag anymore, because there are so many professionals, entrepreneur, whatever, founders, whatever label you want to give them, who don't do the traditional 9 to 5, work at the firm, punch the clock kind of thing. And even a lot of the ones who do work for the firm and punch the clock do it from home. I mean, they log in the morning, and it's just like they just punch the time clock, you know. Some of them even have little cameras sitting up, little webcams sitting up on their screen, so that the boss can pop in at any moment, because you're supposed to be at your desk working, you know, not skylarking, not laying on a couch watching Jerry Springer. You're supposed to be at your desk working.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Well, this is good to be with you today.
Oh, you can even
just coming back from.
You can hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines, and she speaks perfect English. And if you pay her $5 an hour, you will make her a rich woman, and then she'll quit. So don't pay too much. But she'll have a webcam up, and anytime you want to see what your virtual assistant is doing, make sure they're actually working, all you got to do is like that. And boom, she pops up on the screen. And she's either sitting there working or she's on break. I'll hook you up with a contact for that.
I would like that.
You could use something like that.
Well, I have 4 people that work here in the office, but each of them is pretty busy. So that could be a way to help. But anyway, after being out of the office for a week, I've got a lot to catch up on. Okay. So I'm going to have to run. Let me just make an offer today to your audience. If anybody already has some precious metals, whether it's bullion coins or bullion bars, or rare coins or collector coins, or even a gold portfolio that includes gold in your IRA or gold certificates or whatever, feel free to contact me, and I will, as a free service, I'll give you an evaluation of your portfolio, much like I used to do with stock portfolios when I was a stockbroker.
Well, that's quite an offer. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, right here on CFRN, The Dr. Tom Show. See you next week.
God bless you.
Good weekend. Hey, call me later. I need some more of that video consultation. Just bill me.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Will do.
Okay, guys. Let me jump back up to the screen here. I can't tarry long. In fact, I really need to go right about now because, well, I got this webinar coming up, and I may have mentoring sessions too. And of course, everybody wants to chat in Telegram, and there's probably some alerts to put out and some recaps to do. But we've not gotten to our good word for the day yet, have we? I don't think we have. And so, now if you have any questions about anything, whatever that thing might be, if you've already posted in the chat box, there was lots of comments, but if you have a question that you'd like an answer, just copy it and paste it back into the chat box. I'll be happy to answer it before I go. I did put into the chat box the link that gets you into the webinar today. I also put a link that gets you into the recap channel for week 14 of Logic 247. It's a special dedicated channel so you can go in, walk around, pick up and look at, blow the dust off all the alerts from this week in Logic 247. And I think there's over 100. Really? 247. Okay. Now, yesterday, now that little questionnaire that we went through, yeah, what do you think about that? Okay. Today we're going to talk about having a good attitude. You know, it seems elementary, it seems trite, it seems so said and done. But having a good attitude, it's like 90% of the battle. It's kind of like showing up. I mean, if you just show up and have a decent attitude, what can't you and God overcome together? God says just show up, have a decent attitude, and together nothing's impossible. That was his promise. Psalm 18:39 promises this: you armed me with strength for battle. Oh, hey, Michael, are you still there? Michael. No, Michael's on the phone. So John just popped in. So let me open up John's. Hang on, John. I'm coming. Get your mic open. Hey, John. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Didn't want to interrupt your thought for the day.
I'm so glad you popped in.
No, thanks. Sorry, I've been kind of tied up until now. The markets are, you know, they kind of went up on this Trump's comments a while ago, and
we talked about how that might dissipate as fast as some Chinese.
Yeah, it's kind of dissipating already. Actually, you know, we actually sold the highs, or nearly. I kind of missed the highs because I wasn't able to pay full attention today. But it you know, it's got some resonance to it, and it's trying to go a bit higher right now. So we got to kind of stop in there just in case, because the problem is we're down about 600-700 on the week, something like that, and to overcome, you know, the overhang is a very tough kind of assignment right now. And if you look at the general trend here of the last few days, we've been rallying up to a kind of a level, a resistance level, and we've just not been able to get through it. And I must admit that the Chinese markets and some of the emerging markets have reversed quite impressively and are finishing the week. You know, it was a classic outside week. They came down and tested the mid to the slightly lower half range, and then they're finishing at the high of the range, which is a very good thing. And the Chinese market really is starting to look quite impressive. And actually, you know, if Trump can pull off a deal, it could mean the beginning of a you know, a pretty big uptrend in emerging markets and in Chinese markets. I did think I predicted yesterday that I thought we'd have a strong Friday on the gold, and we are having a pretty good Friday so far on the silver. You know, this is the best kind of weekly finish we've had for a while in the metals. By the way, the palladium continues to perform extremely well. In fact, it's got a little kind of a wedge formation here in what it's been doing for the last few hours, and it could gap higher. This obviously something going on with this palladium, whether it's a short supply or something. And you know, I mean, the problem with this market is, you know, they call about Dr. Copper, and the copper market goes down. It sort of begins to be a problem for the markets. But when you look at NVIDIA, we talked about NVIDIA yesterday. I actually tried to call you last night to tell you about it. But, you know, we thought, you know, we weren't doing our homework, and we, you know, they came out with the earnings last night, and the stock took an immediate hit, and we just put sell across the board to sell, you know, new lows right after the you know, right after the news came out. I was a bit late to the game, but the market hadn't really dropped down yet, so we were able to short it near the highs last night and cover, not quite at the lows during the night, but you know, off the lows for this rally that happened, that's basically been building since then, with a couple of setbacks. But the overall structure still looks troubling, and you got Facebook and NVIDIA, you know, really under a lot of pressure. Now, I would say this: the last time NVIDIA disappointed, it kind of went down for a day or two or three, and then it turned and it really took off to the upside with a vengeance. And I have a feeling that that might happen again next week. I don't think it's ready to do that today, but it could be setting up for that. And so could Apple and Facebook and the FANGs in general. You know, a lot of people have been talking about Facebook being down today, but it's starting to turn up. In fact, all of the stocks are starting to look better. Also, you know, Madrigal, MDGL, we originally sold that up around 320, got to 325 in that incredible $150 rally, or maybe more, off the $200 rally off the lows. Remember that huge gap up, and it got intercept going from the mid 50s, low 50s to about 140. Then intercept crashed down to about 90 here in the last week or so. It's starting to go higher. The LABU is starting to go higher. So we're definitely seeing, you know, the beginnings of a potential bottom here forming. And it would only take a decent up day next week, you know, 500-600 point up day, to kind of reverse all the damage and get this market back on track. Now, the only risk is we don't know if there's another leg down in the meantime, or whether we can break up through this resistance level. So we have to, you know, do what we normally do, which is play it day by day, hour by hour, and try and catch the turn when it comes. But I'm kind of seeing a better structure in the stocks today, especially when, you know, considering it's, you know, a tough day for stocks like Facebook. And Amazon, you know, Amazon's not doing too badly either. So there's a definite possibility of some sort of an upside surprise here. I'd say sometime over the coming week or so, going into Thanksgiving potentially. I think after Thanksgiving there's probably going to be a pretty good pop.
The Russell seems oddly quiet. Does it seem quiet to you?
Actually, the Russell's kind of holding up. You know, actually,
sideways here for 2 days.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that, you know, we are getting some divergences here. And if you remember yesterday, I kind of said the lows were in. We really had a monumental reversal yesterday, and we had that pretty powerful rally, and today's rallies have been more subdued. But I think this kind of sideways holding pattern, you know, you got the UK situation with, you know, for God's sake, by Monday, you know, Theresa May could be out of a job, but that might be very, very bullish, because I think if Boris Johnson, you know, pulls off something over the weekend, the markets might explode higher, because I think he's really, considered to be, probably the best choice right now in England. And I think he's a no-nonsense guy, and he'll get things sorted out pretty quick. So it doesn't look like this deal is going to go anywhere that she's tried to put together.
What is it she's proposing? Just in a nutshell, what is
it's very complicated. What the general people are saying is that she's kind of given in to Europe. She's kind of letting them run the show, and she's kind of.
So are they in or are they out? Are they in the European Union?
Oh no, they're planning to get out, but it's kind of a it's a kind of a sort of a step by step, and it's there's a lot of timelines in coming. A lot of things aren't going to happen until 2020. It's still essentially in the union from a customs standpoint. Then you got this issue with Ireland, where there's you can get into Ireland without any restrictions, and you can go from Ireland to England without any restrictions. So it's kind of the same thing, really. So I think if Johnson comes in, it's going to be a much tougher deal, and he's going to stand his ground. And then there's always the possibility there's going to be another referendum, which could, I think if there's a second referendum, they're going to stay in Europe. They're probably going to stay in Europe.
A second referendum, meaning the people vote or Parliament?
People vote. A people vote. Yeah. I think a lot of people, at the time were kind of, what's the word? They were kind of like feeling they were losing their sovereignty, and that Brussels was making too many rules and kind of.
Where does the Queen stand on this?
She stays out of it, but.
Well, I mean, is she ever let known her personal feelings?
Not really, not really. She's
Okay.
she's kind of
above all.
Now we're turning down again. So, this market's not ready to go. It's still running into this selling. I thought it was going to, look a bit better.
But look right here on my chart. Left shoulder, right shoulder, head. This thing comes.
Look at that Trump spike. If it does break down, it could be horrible. I mean, that's why I was saying, look, we haven't. That when Garrett came on yesterday and showed us that, potential 29 analogy, you got to pay attention, because you just don't know what's around the corner, and something comes out of the left field. I mean, the gold is starting to act really well, and that's what happened in 2016 before the market tanked. Now, eventually, when the gold really takes off, I think the market will take off as well. But I think the Fed is.
The market will chase gold higher?
I do, yeah. Because I think the good thing that's happening today is the dollar is down, and that's helping the markets a little bit. If the way the dollar is finishing the week, I mean, we have a weekly reversal. We have the mother of all weekly reversals on the dollar right now. So, just a second.
Go ahead. If you need to take it, no, go ahead. Okay, guys, we are down, other than John's final comments, we're down to the end of the show. If there is any question, now the link's in the chat box for the webinar. The link is in the chat box for the Telegram channel, where you can go in and see all of the alerts that came out prior to today and the recap for the week. So that, if better than me trying to show you, you can just go look at it, you see it yourself. It is what it is. And you'll know right away. You'll go, what? Either you can or you can't. It's simple. It's not easy. It's just simple. Okay, I turn the faucet on. Out come the alerts. I see what suits me, my personality, my risk tolerance. Okay, I trade it. Get my goal. Turn it off. Simple. Not complicated. Not easy. Simple. Simple is good. We like simple. Okay, I got a feeling John may be on this call for a minute or a beat.
Hello.
Hey, go ahead.
Hi.
Yeah, we have to wrap up, John, but go ahead. Just give us your final closing
look, the metals are, silver is outperforming the gold a little bit. As I was saying about the palladium, and the platinum for that matter, kind of looks, this might be the one weekend you want to go home long the gold, because I think there's a possibility the gold could gap higher on Sunday night, possibly a lot higher. Just the way it's kind of shaping up right now.
And I kind of think the S&P just might sell off, so those two could go hand in hand in opposite directions.
Yeah. So, and by the way, the gold stocks are looking really good. They're on the highs of the day, pretty much. And I got a feeling, in all honesty, I think we're going to have a very dramatic move up in the gold and silver, probably next week. It could be a $30 move, and the gold could take us up to 50 to 1250, 1260. Could even run all the way to 1300 before the end of the month, and the silver could run up towards 15, maybe even 1530 to 1550. It's really starting to look pretty impressive, frankly, and quite dynamic, to tell you the truth. So, I mean, this is kind of the best visuals I've seen on the metals in some time. In all honesty, it really looks like they're poised for an upside breakout. And look, if we get a gap and go on Monday, especially being the first day of the week, if we sort of find ourselves, look, we gapped up this morning, we traded higher, we're up 7 at the moment. If we finish up 8, 9, 10 near the highs of the day, the odds of a gap are fairly high. And if we gap higher Sunday night, we could be looking at a $20 or $30 up day just in one day. And the grains are also starting to look a lot better. The soybeans look good for an upside breakout here. They're getting up towards 900. And we haven't seen 900 in a long time. The soy meal is looking reasonably good as well, for quite dynamic. Let's see, the wheat. The wheat's not really ready to go yet, but what's this stuff called? Oh, oats. Yeah, that's the oats. The oats is looking fantastic. I mean, it's been leading the way higher, and it's about to make a new high on the year. So that's a pretty big deal.
And gas, it's turning around. It's sold off all the way down.
Yeah, we bought it back under 4 yesterday, and I'd recommend holding the gas. I'd stick with it.
This one that we put out yesterday on the show. This one here, this one came through. And we got another one sitting right up above the market here, ready to run.
Yeah, and actually, I think the lows may be in on the energy too, right here. I think I'm getting a reasonably decent buy signal on the energy right now. So I haven't looked at UGA yesterday. Excuse me, UGA is just a second. Wow, it's it's back up. We put in a buy at somewhere pretty low yesterday. I think it was around, just a minute. Yeah, around about 110 or somewhere down 118. It's 140 right now, and it's moving as we speak. So I mean, remember, this came off a 260 high, so it's got the potential to rebound very dramatically. So I think well, certainly the gas is the strongest right now, and with this cold weather, I mean, a lot of people were hit with the cold snap that they didn't see coming, and this is one of the earliest cold snaps we've seen in a while. So it kind of fits with the picture of what we've been saying for a while. We're going to get a really cold winter, and even though the energy got beaten down, it could really snap back very, very, very sharply here if it gets really cold. So all in all, not such a bad week. It looks like Scott and the 3 races, Kemp, Scott, and DeSantis are going to win okay in Florida, in spite of it all. Just disappointing that we didn't win in Arizona. So, and Trump seemed to be in a pretty upbeat mood today. By the way, the grains, which are also looking good, as I was just saying, you know, if something good comes out of China over the weekend, the grains could really, really take off. So, and you know, the cold weather is kind of bullish for the grains too. Keep that in mind.
And natural gas.
Yeah. So listen, have a great weekend.
Hey John, same to you. Have a great weekend. I need to talk with you over the weekend, so I'll reach out.
Yeah. Feel free anytime. Okay. Yeah.
And then we'll see you here on the show Monday.
Okie doke. It's fantastic. Thanks again. All the best. Bye bye.
Bye now. All right, guys, we're gonna dive right into a good word for the day. Wrap this up. I gotta go. And I know you do too. It's Friday, payday. Hey, are you a person of a certain age who remembers when Friday was like a really special day? It was the end of the week, and back then, when you punched out on Friday, whether it was a factory or an office or wherever, it wasn't your home, you put the job behind you for 2.5 days. I mean, you got the remainder of, got Friday night, woohoo, right? And then Saturday and Sunday, I know some people went into the office, but most ordinary people, they didn't. They just lived their life and was with their families and jacked up their cars in the back and put fat tires on them and went fishing and, you know, stuff. All the ladies went to the beauty parlor on Saturday, get the hair done, to go out Saturday night. You always take the wife out on Saturday night. You take your girlfriend out on Friday, according to Goodfellas, and then you take your wife on Saturday night. Or maybe I got it backwards. I think it's the wife on Friday night. I don't know. I'm not a good fellow. Okay. Oh, anybody in the greater Phoenix area, we are having a men's prayer breakfast. Not the online kind, but we're having one in the real world. Tomorrow morning at our church at the base of South Mountain, 24th Street and Baseline Road. If you're in the greater Phoenix vicinity, get a hold of me and I will give you the address. Love to see you there. Be awesome. I'm cooking the eggs, so you might want to eat before you come. Back to what we're going to talk about for just a minute. Attitude. We can have good attitudes, we can have bad attitudes, we can have attitudes of excellence or not so. Each of us is fighting a battle of some kind, but not all of us are winning. And think about your own life. You know, it could be financial, it could be health, it could be spiritual, it could be relational. See, that's how life is, up and down. Like that video I showed you. Like the roller coaster. Not a bad thing, that's just life. It's when we try to make life something that it isn't, that's when we run into problems. That's when we find friction and resistance. Let it take you up and let it take you down, and back up and back down. When you're on the mountaintop, you got a valley coming. You're in the valley, good news, you got a mountaintop coming. Each of us is fighting a battle of some kind, but not all of us are winning. Those who win come in many different varieties, but they all have one thing in common: a faith that refuses to quit. Well, now that sounds good, but let's talk about faith for a minute. What is faith? Is faith what you believe? Because what you believe never gets off the couch. It's what you do with what you believe. So interject that here. Those who win come in many different varieties. Those who excel come in many different varieties, but they all have one thing in common: action that refuses to quit. See, faith, pistis in the original Greek, it's an action word. Nobody had more struggles in life than David, and he understood the importance of maintaining the right perspective. He said, "You armed me with strength for battle." Now, the grace that you receive from God will always be equal to the challenges that you face. Did you know that Admiral Lord Nelson, England's famous hero of the sea, suffered from seasickness all his life? And that's very unusual. Typically, it only takes one bout of seasickness to, like, cure you. It's like getting the measles or chicken pox. You get it once, it's bad. And then it just doesn't affect you. That's not true of all people. As I say, my wife, she got seasick before we even untied from the pier on the last cruise. So here we have Admiral Lord Nelson, England's most famous hero of the sea. Now, they had a lot of heroes, okay? There was no shortage of heroes, but he was the most famous hero of the sea, and yet every time he got on a boat, he got seasick. And I don't know if you've ever been seasick, but there is no worse feeling. It's like the whole world is caving in, and it just, the nausea and all the moaning and the groaning. I had to tie myself into my rack. Now, it's like a bunk bed for civilians, but military, it's called a rack. And I literally lashed myself in because the ship was taking 60-degree rolls. And when you take a 60-degree roll, there's only a 50% chance that you're going to come back right side up. Yep. Yep, a lot of daring do in my life. Okay, I can't answer that. Whoever, if you're listening, I can't answer that. Back to Lord Nelson, and not me. This man, Lord Nelson, who sank Napoleon's fleet. Now he took Napoleon out. Refused to let his personal struggles rob him of his destiny. He not only learned to live with his weakness, but to conquer it every day. Every day he had to wake up and be seasick and deal with it. If you've not been seasick, you don't know how bad it is, but imagine the most horrible thing you could possibly muster up. Okay, now go that times 2. Carry the 1. That's it. You got it. Okay. He not only learned to live with his weakness, but he learned to conquer it every day. What's your weakness? You got one. His was getting seasick. Unfortunately, he's the admiral. It's kind of a bummer to be the admiral and get seasick. All right. Can you think of a worse thing? What's your weakness? Brownies? No, not those kind, just regular brownies. Or ice cream. Or, you don't still smoke, do you? I'm not going to shame you for smoking. No, seriously, we all have weaknesses. We have strengths and we have weaknesses, just like life has ups and downs. That means you're alive, okay? So think about your weakness. We all have them. Are you conquering that weakness every day? See, just because you conquer it today doesn't mean it doesn't show up again tomorrow, or the next day, or next week, or next month, or a year from now. Conquer it daily. All of us have our battlegrounds. And we learn, as we grow older, we learn to choose our battles, don't we? I mean, yeah, we still plan to win the war, but we know we're not going to win every battle, and so we choose where we stand and fight. And while nobody pins a medal on us for winning, nothing can diminish the satisfaction of knowing that we just didn't quit. We didn't give up. The joy of knowing that we overcame by God's strength. Whose strength? God's. It's in the scripture. It's in the word. You armed me with strength for battle. There's a story told of a little boy who lost his right hand in an accident. When the doctor questioned him about his handicap, he replied, I don't have a handicap. I just don't have a right hand. Later, the doctor discovered the boy had gone on to become one of the leading scorers on his high school basketball team. His philosophy in life was, it's not what you've lost, but what you have left that counts. I know we've all lost some things along the way. The enemy may have stole a few things from us, right? But this is God's time. Prosperity for God's people. It's not what you've lost, it's what you have left that counts. Now take what you have left and make it count. That's the excellent attitude. And with God's help, we can do this. With God, we got this. I'll see you at the webinar. Thanks for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, May God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.
With 2 billion Christians worldwide and only 1 million CTG tokens, you do the math. CTG is the official cryptocurrency of the global Christian community. Before we explode into the global market in 2019, we want to offer you one last chance to show that special someone in your list the power of one. Imagine giving Bitcoin for Christmas just 2 years ago. Would that have made you a hero? Well, CTG is not Bitcoin. It is the official cryptocurrency of the global Christian community. 2.4 billion Christians, only 1 million CTG tokens. Act now, and we include the most beautiful silver coin in the world. It is the only silver coin backed by the force and authority of the United States government. This Christmas, give your loved one the power of one. 1 CTG token, and as a very special bonus, 1 brilliant uncirculated silver eagle. Give them the gift this Christmas that will not only light up their face, it will light up their faith. Christian traders, prosperity for God's people. Or you could give them socks. Call toll-free 833 In God We Trust to place your order. Supply is extremely limited. Make this the Christmas they never forget. The past, the present, the future. CTG, ChristianTraders.com. Prosperity for God's people.